We are open for business. That was the message from the Ivorians to the British at the first Côte d'Ivoire trade mission in the United Kingdom, a message welcomed by Britain as it seeks greener pastures outside the European Union. The meeting between the West African nation and the world's fifth largest economy comes just 3 weeks before Britain's scheduled departure from the EU. The trade mission is part of British efforts to bolster ties with Africa's emerging economies and surpass the United States as G7's leading investor in the continent. Britain's relations with Francophone Africa has mostly been hindered by a language barrier, but now with Brexit looming, the UK is pulling out all the stops to strengthen its position on the global stage.
I think the UK has seen, and DIT has seen, the importance of these emerging markets. The Côte d'Ivoire, for example, their growth rate for the since 2012 has been 8, 9, even up to 10%. Last year it was at 7% growth, and it's projected to be over 7% again this year. So there's a remarkable amount of availability and options and opportunities in these markets. Côte d'Ivoire is one of them. And again, I think there's always been a perception that because it's Francophone, therefore the larger trading partner would be France. But the Ivorians want to diversify, and they've looked at the UK as a partner to diversify with. The UK has a brand that the Ivorians like, and I think it's a great time to be trying to form these new partnerships.
Côte d'Ivoire is looking for investment and partnership in the UK because the UK has a lot to offer to Côte d'Ivoire. The UK government is also keen to carry on the collaboration with Côte d'Ivoire because of the resources that we have. As you know, that Côte d'Ivoire is the leading country in terms of cocoa production, cashew nuts, and I think in terms of agriculture we have a lot to offer. The UK, as everybody knows, is leaving the EU and need stronger partners, and one of their targets is the French Francophone part of Africa, and Côte d'Ivoire is one of the top partner in the Francophone Africa. So I believe that obviously this collaboration is important and it will carry on to strengthen. So I believe that UK organizations, companies and governments are willing to work with the Ivorian businesses, and it's good today to have this first delegation from Côte d'Ivoire here in the UK to discuss collaboration between the two countries, and this is the very first time that this is happening. So this really shows that both countries are really keen on collaboration.
Côte d'Ivoire has enjoyed an impressive 8% GDP growth, making it one of Africa's fastest growing economies. And for the Ivorian delegation at the trade conference, the country has a lot to gain from British investment.
Côte d'Ivoire have a lot to gain from this collaboration, mainly in investment in infrastructure, in health, education, and also the UK to help the Côte d'Ivoire financing different projects. And I believe also that Côte d'Ivoire today needs machinery to transform the raw material. They also need training as well for their population, executive training. So I believe that this is something that the UK can bring to Côte d'Ivoire.
Nous pensons gagner beaucoup, et d'abord nous allons justement développer nos entreprises à travers des partenariats.
We hope to gain a lot and will develop our businesses through partnerships. The United Kingdom has a lot of experience. It is a developed country and we want to achieve emergence by 2020. We therefore need strong companies. We also need to create jobs, and it is through the growth of our businesses that we will create jobs, create wealth, and allow people to be comfortable. To solve the social problems, to hire as much as possible, to avoid unemployment like the one that rages here in Europe. We want to take advantage of your experiences here in Great Britain to improve the living conditions of our fellow citizens through all our development programs that can only succeed if the Ivorians get involved themselves. We have companies that are up to the task. They will change from being small businesses to small and medium-sized enterprises to becoming very large corporations. We want to allow our companies to become champions. That is to say, to make large industries in Ivory Coast. You know, we have a low level on the industrial level while we have a lot of production. It is good that we can process our products on the spot. We need quality industrialists from developed countries such as Great Britain to help us in this process. The Ivorian government has set a target for Ivory Coast to be above the 50% raw material processing. We cannot do it alone. This is why our president Alassane Ouattara travels with the private sector, consular chambers, and employers to get business leaders to invest with us. It also allows us to go to other horizons to promote our productions, because it is not by staying on site that we'll promote them. You know that in 2017 we had a lot of problems as the world's largest cocoa producer. But if we directly process our cocoa through partnerships with big UK companies, it would have avoided that we move with our cocoa by being the victims of speculation to prevent us from selling our cocoa at the best price.
Et qu'on nous fasse de la spéculation pour qu'on ne puisse pas vendre au meilleur prix notre cacao.
The world's biggest cocoa producer is calling for investment in areas such as education, social housing and tourism, a call which may soon be answered.
My project is a real estate project, so essentially it's about promoting investment in Africa, in Ivory Coast, essentially to enable tourism. So, for instance, individuals that want to come to Côte d'Ivoire to, spend time to discover the country for business purposes, they can basically stay at my place. So it's a building that we're creating, that we invested in, and so the purpose is basically to house people. So ideally is to create a portfolio of various residences. So I mean, that's something that I've always been interested in. It started in 2010 when I actually visited Côte d'Ivoire after my studies, and I discovered the different opportunities that were there. And one of those opportunities was real estate. So I realized that Abidjan is quite populated, has lots of residents and not that many houses. So that was definitely a sector to invest in. So I think one of the challenges is to acquire land. Land is one of the biggest challenges, but with government agreements and with the right research and the right people, you can acquire those and capital as well. So that's definitely one of my projects. Real estate is a long-term project, but in the short term it's about also promoting tourism. So tourism to Côte d'Ivoire to start with, so Western Africa. For people who actually want to discover the country, the culture, the food, the prospects, and also for business entrepreneurs, investors who want to invest in diverse sectors. So that's a project that I'm currently working on, that hopefully will see the light of day later this year or early next year. So yeah, I'm quite enthusiastic about Africa in general, in particular French Africa. And so I think this is a great event to come and network, given the fact that I also work for the Côte d'Ivoire Chamber of Commerce in the UK. I think it's an excellent opportunity to be able to liaise with our English counterparts and promote our country to them so that they can invest later on.
Only time will tell how fruitful this new partnership will be, but for now, Côte d'Ivoire is urging investors to seize the day.